My name's Ian McDonald. I play the guitar. Our name is Monophonics.
I'm Kelly Finnegan. I play keyboards and sing.
The Monophonics have been around for 10 years. We started more of as an instrumental kind of funk jazz band with two horns and keys, bass, guitar, and drums. And a couple of us met in college, a couple of us went to high school together, so we were old friends and we all enjoyed the same music, and we started to play more and gig more in the Bay Area. We're from San Francisco, and then we started to tour more, and then about halfway through, 5 years ago, kind of personnel changed and Kelly joined the group, and now we're primarily a vocal-based band.
I kind of wasn't in another group. I had like a production thing going where I was producing and making some records, but I wasn't really a performing musician by any means. I was more of a studio person. So joining the band was pretty new for me in terms of performing and touring and playing a lot, but it was exciting. And I joined around 2010, the summer of 2010. So I'm going on about 6 years now. So
I think there's an absolute history in San Francisco as being, you know, kind of the history and the birthplace and mecca of psychedelic rock, also soul music and blues. And so, you know, bands like Sly and the Family Stone were a group that made rock and soul combined, and this kind of new sound that was heavier than just your local, you know, just soul bands or whatever. So I think in that case it is retro, but we don't really consider it retro. It's just good music that we like to play and that we enjoy the records. So we put our spin on it, and we play, you know, in 2015, in the present, we're playing music that we love. So it's, you know, it's here and it's then as well.
I would agree. We're most definitely inspired by a lot of old records and old bands, old record labels and whatnot, but it still has, I don't think it's, how would I say that? It's a new sound with kind of rooted in older music, you know. I think there's a lot of people who hear it and right away they think, oh, maybe this is an older group, but I think just as many people hear it and go, oh, this is a cool new band. I think you could be easily fooled one way or the other. I don't think it's just like, oh, this sounds old. And really, there's a lot of other groups that are way more rooted in keeping that kind of old vibe going than us. I think we're just as modern as a lot of bands compared to some other groups like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, or Leon Bridges, or even Amy Winehouse in terms of her sound for her Back to Black record. So I think it's just walking the line, you know, between the past and the future. On this tour, we go from here, we fly tomorrow to a small city outside of Paris in France to play the Django Reinhardt Jazz Festival. And then we have a few days off and we go to Greece, and that's one of our favorite places to play. It's a very good market for us. We get a lot of radio play in Greece, so we have some really good fans, good following. So I know we're all excited to go back to Greece, and I would even say that's one of the most memorable, you know, shows or tours. Is the first time we came to Europe and the first time we went to Greece. We kind of were like pleasantly surprised at how popular we really were. We knew that people liked us out there and we had some good fans, but the reaction to the shows and the amount of people that were coming and knew all the songs, and just the overall like way they welcomed us, you know, was like really amazing. I know that for me that's a tour and a show that really stands out. I mean, a lot of our most memorable shows are in Europe, I would say. There's most definitely some in the States, and we've got to go to some really cool places, but we really like touring Europe, and especially getting to come, you know, we were in Romania last night tonight we're here in Budapest, and like, it's just really cool that we get to see these new and exciting places. So, story-wise, I don't know. That's always a question where you have stories, but then when people ask you, you're kind of like, I mean,
I think a good story was we were playing with another artist here in France. I mean, in France we were playing, and we were, you know, in a big tour bus, and there were small streets in this particular city, and so we kind of made a left turn of a big tour bus, and there was a car, he couldn't turn, so there was a car kind of blocking the turn. So we were about 16 guys in the crew, in the band. So we all lifted the car
and moved the car out of the way.
So that was a funny...
That's a funny story, yeah.
So.
That,
It wasn't a concert.
Yeah. It could have been a concert, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Tonight we were playing, you know, a mix of our songs off our new album. It's called Sound of Sinning. We have some older songs that were on our last album, In Your Brain. We have some songs, cover songs, and we just, you know, Monophonics are about bringing energy and passion and, you know, dedication to our music and our sound.
Yeah, it's not to interrupt, but I was just gonna say it's like it's very much a show. We want to inject our energy into the crowd so they can return the energy, you know, and you get a nice cycle going where it's like you give and then they give back. So we're all about that. We really like we like people, as long as we see people out there smiling, dancing, singing, having a good time, then that's what we're there for, you know. You can tell there's an energy. There really is an energy in the room. And it's been really cool because on this tour alone, there's been multiple shows with like really, really good energy in the room. In Germany and France, and I think it depends. There's like personal satisfaction, and then there's satisfaction as a band, you know? If we all, and I think the crowd is a big thing. It's like we can feel when people are really having a good time, when people are really engaged with the show. So, I mean, most of the time we don't get off stage and go, man, that was horrible. Sometimes it's like, oh, the sound was a little tough on stage, or maybe, you know, there was a distraction, or your equipment wasn't, you know, so like there's a lot of different levels to what makes like, oh, that was a perfect show. But, I mean, there's most definitely been a couple shows on this tour where I think they've been like, it's close to perfect in terms of everybody playing well, in terms of everybody feeling good on stage, the crowd's having a good time, the way they're reacting, the way we're embracing them. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited for tonight. It might be, tonight might be a perfect night, you know? We did a big cruise, actually, that went to Jamaica and the Caribbean. So we were on a ship for like 5 to 6 days and played a couple times. So yeah, that ship was moving though. This one's not moving. So, and you guys played, before I was in the band,
Yeah,
they played on
like
a battleship, like an old warship in San Francisco. So we've played on a couple ships, but nothing like this, where there's like a bar and a restaurant and a nightclub and a TV studio. It's very cool.
We have a love for all of our songs, including the covers that we play, because you know, they all.
Which is yours?
My favorite? That's hard to say, you know. It's like, pick your favorite song that you like to listen to or that you like to play. I really like a kind of a slower, heavier song called "Falling Apart" that's on our new album. You know, sometimes we don't play it every night if the crowd isn't like with us. It's a very kind of a strong emotional song, but when the crowd is with us and you can feel it, that song has a deep, you know, passion to it. Sometimes it's usually in the encore.
Yeah, you gauge, you know, like he said, if it's just a feeling more of like, oh, okay, they're really with us tonight. Let's play this song, because like you said, it's a sad song, and it's an emotional song, and you kind of want to feel that the people are in the right mind state, you know, for that, because it's like to perform it, you don't want to like as we say, like phone it in, like meaning like don't give it your best, like fake it. You know, you want to like really do it the best you can, and sometimes with a song like that, you really want to make sure the crowd is engaged. But I would agree, Falling Apart. I really like playing Foolish Love, which is off our last record, just because it always gets like an amazing response, and it's one of those songs that kind of over time has like become one of our most popular songs. You know, it's kind of interesting because I don't think anybody, when we first put it out, would have said like, oh, Foolish Love is going to be one of our most pop, you know, so I really like playing that one. And I really enjoy playing a lot of the new songs because they're new. And, you know, our last record came out 3 years ago, so we've been playing a lot of those songs for a few years now. So it's nice to have these new songs in the set, like La 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 Love Me and Falling Apart, Hanging On, Holding Back Your Love, Sound of Sinning, Promises. So, yeah, I mean, I really like playing all the new songs. We just put the record out, like, and the vinyl, we're putting it out on vinyl this coming month in July. So it's still really a new release. I think we're just gonna try and finish touring for the remainder of the year. We have some US shows, some festivals, and then we're gonna do some more touring in the fall, September, October, take a little break, and then probably come back to Europe in December. And then we have a big show at the end of the year at the Fillmore, which is a very historical music venue in the US, in San Francisco particularly. So we'll do a big show at the Fillmore. And then I think we'll probably like take a little bit of time, you know. It's been a busy year with putting the record out and touring. So it'd be nice to have everybody kind of rest, kind of just chill out. And then probably talk about, yeah, starting another record. The songwriting is shared between all of us, basically. The rhythm section helps write things, you know, guitar and bass, keys and drums, and then I write lyrics. And then we usually give it to our trumpet player, and he does some horn arranging, or sometimes we use strings, you know, a real string quartet. So it's pretty shared, you know, in terms of how we do the work and how the songs are written. Myself and Ian, we produce the records. We have our own recording studio in California that we work out of. So it's very nice that we can kind of do it ourselves. There's no pressure, there's no clocks, there's no, you know, like I said, there's no pressure. It's nice, we can work at our own pace. Perfect? I'm far from that.
No, I don't think perfection is what we're going for.
Yeah.
It's more about, you know, giving off a feeling or a certain sound, and, you know, the techniques that we use as far as our instruments that are all vintage and nice. And so it's about just conveying a certain, you know, like, not a confidence, but just a conviction with your instrument,
yeah,
and the sound that you create, you know. It's not like we are, you know, amazing, you know, classical or jazz players. It's more about the way that there's like a conviction is a good word to say. Is
yeah.
If you play one note, are you fully into that note? You know, are you like, is that the note?
As a band, we try and keep it simple, and that way it's just better, because really we're up there together making music together. So it's all about like being together. Like, we would all rather be really tight as a band and have the performances be really tight than one person being more exceptional than the other in terms of their technical skill. Everybody's a very skilled musician on stage, but it's really about us playing together and sounding good together and presenting the songs and the compositions the best way possible. And like he said, making mistakes is never fun, but it's also just part of being a human being, you know? Like, we all make mistakes, and they're never fun, but no one's up there making any mistakes that hurt the show or people notice, you know? When you make a mistake and you notice it, it's very like, it happens so fast and you move on. You can't really like let it get in your head because you're already on to the next song, you know? So it's part of the thing, but it's really, the show is what is most important. Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, me and Ian are very involved with that, and we most definitely try and work towards records being perfect. Once again, it's pretty hard to have anything be perfect, but I think the new record is exceptional. It's really a step up from our last record in terms of songwriting and producing, and that's just motivating for me personally. I'm sure Ian too, because it's only our second record doing it the way we do it, and actually from this last record, the attention it's gotten, we've gotten some really nice kind of other musicians and other producers, important people reaching out to us who want to work with us, and that's a compliment to ourselves and the band that there's really talented people out there who want to work with the band. So if you put our last record on from 2012 and you listen to it, and then you put the new one on that just came out in June this month, I think it's an obvious natural progression. We really say again?
What?
In songwriting, I mean, we're all like still new to writing songs. Like you said, they used to be instrumental. It really used to be more about like grooves and basic rhythms and stuff. And now we're trying to write songs that speak to people everywhere. People in Hungary, people in Japan, in America, everywhere. So I think that's the most important thing, is do these songs speak to everybody? It's that the growth in our songwriting is, I think, one of the most impressive things, like I said, given that really none of us have like a lot of years of experience writing songs. We have experience making records and writing music, but not the kind of songs that we're writing. So that's exciting, because that's natural progression. And I think just exploring new things while staying rooted in Monophonics as the group, psychedelic soul, psychedelic funk, whatever you want to call it. But like even this new record compared to the last is like, we explored more influences in terms of rock. There's a lot more of a UK kind of 60s modish rock influence. There's influence from the Beach Boys, Ennio Morricone, David Axelrod, Isaac Hayes. I mean, it's all over the place in terms of what we're inspired by. Where I think is in your brain, we found our sound, and we really wanted to focus on like, oh, we want to make a psychedelic soul record. Where this was more like, oh, you know what? We just want to write good songs, and however it comes out, it comes out. And I think that's how the next record will probably be too. We go see bands and artists and concerts all the time. I mean, trying to think, what was the last concert we went to?
It's been so long. We've been on tour.
We went and saw Arcade Fire. The best places?
Yeah.
Well, the Fillmore.
Where you like to go?
Fillmore.
The Fillmore is it's a historical music venue, and it really it kind of changed the way concerts were thrown in the 60s in America. Bill Graham, a very important person in live music. The Mission District in San Francisco is really cool in terms of just getting, good food, some cool shops. North Beach is kind of like the little Italy of San Francisco. Once again, it's a cool vibe. Golden Gate Park is historical and beautiful. I mean,
that was good.
You could go anywhere. I mean, it's San Francisco. It's a world-class city, and it's not hard to find a good time or a good meal or good people. I don't usually get too crazy if I party. I'm pretty mellow. What do you say?
We all like to have some
Oh
fun.
yeah, we like to have some drinks or a little smoke or something, hang out, chill out for sure, but
Be social.
keep it mellow. Yeah. This was most definitely one of the shows when we got the schedule for the tour where everybody was like, "Oh, that's cool. Going to Budapest. That's awesome." Yeah.